It's time for Around the Ozarks News, brought to you by the Springfield Greene County Park Board, Blue Current, and Thompson Sales. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Hey, good morning to you. Here we are midway through the week. It's a week that's flying by. I'll tell you that much, at least from my standpoint. I don't know about anybody else.
You got a lot to do. That's why.
It's going by quickly. Yeah, so let's do some news.
All right. The Southeast, as you know, in the U.S. is still underwater. A lot of people still without power and resources. And this is interesting. The Missouri Task Force 1 is in the mode of human remains. Yeah, the canines and handlers are in Charlotte, North Carolina. Crews have been checking with those who took shelter in their homes to try and ensure they survived. But otherwise, the task force has activated its human remains team. It's terrible.
Sad. It's a sad deal. I mean, the death toll is climbing by a lot. It has the last couple of days. It's just horribly sad what's going on, and caught so many people by surprise with all that rain and water.
Yeah, and as far inland as it went.
Right. That's what's weird about it, is that the damage and destruction inland is worse than where the Category 4 hurricane hit on the coast of Florida. It's nuts.
Yeah. All right. And this is also kind of a crazy story. American consumers will definitely feel the effects financially and in time, like length of time. About 50,000 port workers are on strike right now, walked off the job over their contracts. The Port Workers Union is asking for a pay raise of about 77% over the next 6 years. So, yes, that's a lot of money. They want protections against, you guessed it, perhaps automation. And many of the workers say they put their lives on the line during COVID to help make sure that critical supplies got delivered and that a big pay raise is long overdue.
That
so much of our foods, our goods come in via port. So it's going to be an interesting time.
That would be a big pay raise.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well,
interestingly, nuclear reactors come in via port as well. So this is a big deal. It's a big deal.
Well, it's a massive deal. Everything comes through the ports, and because we don't manufacture much of anything in this country anymore, sadly. And this strike is happening 35 days before an election. So that plays into it as well. The response to it, whether you respond, if you respond, it's just so many different balls in the air for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Back here locally, a Taney County firefighter has minor injuries, but will be okay, thankfully, after battling a fire at Taney County's recycling center and transfer station. It all started as a brush fire near Camping World. Once crews realized the fire was actually a large fire originating from the transfer station, they called in for backup and extra help. Right now, they're saying it does not appear to be suspicious, but a firefighter was hurt. It's expected to be okay. Now, the election, as we were talking about, is 5 weeks away or so, and already nearly 30,000 votes have been cast. Pre-election voting soared in 2020 with COVID, and now it is not as common, but it is taking place some places. Analytic firms say 158 million people voted pre-election before election day in 2020. Absentee voting is now open, I know, in the state of Missouri.
In Missouri, yeah. I think it's really interesting because it was 2020 where there was all of the ballot, just chaos, I guess you could call it. But I also did not realize there were that many millions of people who did pre-election voting. Now, that's because I'm healthy and able-bodied. So, I mean, I understand during a pandemic, but also that explains everything,
Well, I think you're asking for problems with early voting. There are ballots all over the place.
Yeah.
There's too much that can happen, and
we are a culture definitely who likes to be convenient. But in my mind, like there are some things that just process is needed, like let the process. And also, years in advance when an election is going to be. And we've got to get to a place where it is recognized as, it's kind of like jury duty, right? Like you might have something important going on, but if you get called for jury, the beauty of the American justice system is that you report for work, and your boss actually has to pay for it. You know what I mean? Because it's important that justice work and
Well,
that citizens be a part of that. Voting, same thing. Like, why are we doing any sort of excuse other than for military? Now, if you're gone and you're in the military, okay. Otherwise, it's like be here on the day of. You've known it for years in advance. If it's important to you, then plan to be there.
well,
Also, who goes to bed before counting is done? That didn't happen when we first started out in news. As a poll worker, tonight is an all-nighter. Period. I don't know.
it's a lot easier when all the votes are in one place, but when all the votes are all over the place in boxes, different places, because they came in.
And then
6
ordering
weeks ago.
ballots also gets confusing because county clerks have to be very meticulous in how many they order, from what company, where all they're going. Like all of that's counted. But when it's not all going to the same place and on the same day, yeah, there's too much room for error. And it once the system is not trusted, if you call the integrity of the system is called into question, then your democracy will crumble because because we are built on systems.
Well, you have to trust the election, and there's too much room for error. Whether it's lost boxes of ballots, I mean, it's human error. If it all happens in one day, then it's a lot easier to come up.
And
with
there's
at
better
the end
checks
of the
and
day.
balances. I mean, there's election judges, and then there's also volunteers. There's lots of election volunteers. I have friends who do that in their retirement or whatever, and there's just more eyeballs. I don't know. It's being above reproach.
Well, I'm not a fan of early voting. Show up on the day and let's get it done. Now, if you're going to be absentee, fill out an absentee ballot. That's a small number of people. All right. You can add heating your home to the list of what's going to cost us more for both gas and electric. Everything costs more, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. Economists are predicting a 10% increase in price. So another 10 this winter.
That's a huge jump.
That's huge. Because I don't know, they're predicting colder temperatures for us in the Midwest. And they say it's costlier to maintain power grids. Parts cost more. Yeah. Join the club. Everything costs more.
All right. Watch
unfortunately, out for... you and I just don't get to pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah. Well, but even though I don't know how restaurants are making it right now, food's so daggum expensive. So, okay. Watch out for deer on the road. 'Tis the season for deer. MoDOT says that our state saw about 4 year. Wow. So beware. October, November are the most popular months for that. Anytime between 6 and 7 a.m. in the morning. And then in the evenings between 6 and 9 p.m. So do be advised, with deer crashes just last year, there were 4 fatalities in the state and 420 people injured. It's a lot.
It's a big problem, and it'll mess up your car really good.
Yeah. And scary too. Okay. This is kind of fun. If you are a musician or a creative type like my husband, you should take part in O'Reilly's new competition. The O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Ow! You know the song. There you go. If you can give a new take on that jingle, here's like the criteria. They said use any of the jingle versions on the O'Reilly TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. If you think you can do it better, you can remix it where you like reimagine the classic jingle and turn it into a club worthy dance hit. Or you take the jingle to the next level with your vocal and musical talents, and it can be played as a cover. Then you can win $5,000.
I think that is a great idea. There are so many people who are so creative in doing things, and now they have the capability right there on their computer. In the old days, not many people could mix a song
Yeah.
because you had to have a studio and all of that stuff. Now anybody can do it probably on their phone. Take them
Mhm.
5 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that's fun. I think that's a good
Yeah.
idea to you crowdsource your jingle. I like it.
We could use an additional $5,000 right now, and you are super creative, so get on
Well,
it.
I'm not musical, but
No,
I'm
you're not musical, but you're creative, and, like, you don't really have to be able to sing.
I could just ask AI to do it.
It's true. You could do that too. Be done in about 2 seconds.
Right.
There's also gonna be runner-up. So if you get runner-up, the first or second runner-up, they get $2,000 each.
That's cool.
But I think you should go for the $5,000 prize. Anyway, so you have between right now and October 31st to do that. Check it out at O'ReillyJingleContest.com. O'ReillyJingleContest.com. It's fun. All right, that's it. We have a lot of fall events. I told you about some of them yesterday. If you go to aroundtheozarks.com, you can click on events and then it pulls up a calendar and you can scroll through that and look at all sorts of things that are happening this weekend and even during the week. If you want to do something tonight, for instance, you can do that. But yeah, it looks like it's the Evangel University homecoming this weekend. I told you about the haunted history walking tour with the History Museum. Also, we didn't mention this yesterday, the Relics amazing garage sale. Relics is super popular. First Friday art walk. So there's so much going on this weekend
Yep.
and you should check it out. Oh, the Rutledge Wilson Farm Park's Harvest Fest, which is super fun for kids. We used
I
to
drove
take
by that.
hours all
I
the
think
time.
I drove by that last weekend,
Okay.
and it took me back to remember the picture of Caroline on
Yes.
the horse,
On
the
the cow
pony.
train. The cow train.
Was it a cow?
Well,
No, no,
there's the
no,
cow
no.
train, but then
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
like the pony.
Right. She was on a pony, and then
Yeah.
she was also on that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I drove by, and it took me right back.
Yep. Well, that's happening this weekend. So check it out aroundtheozarks.com. Look at the events calendar. There's seriously so much there for all age groups too. And then also the contest. We have been telling you about this because we are now in, I guess, what is it, week 6? Or is it week 5? I don't remember. Week 5 or 6
This
of
is
the
week
Branson
5.
Bowl. Yeah.
This is week
Okay.
5,
Week
yeah.
5. And it is the Branson Bowl. We are giving away Chiefs tickets whenever they have a home game. This week's prize, though, is a Rashee Rice signed jersey.
Yep.
You will also get some custom gear from Branson and the Kansas City Chiefs because Branson is the official vacation destination of the Chiefs.
Yep.
And it's just a fun contest. We've had a lot of fun being able to tell the winners that they are the winners. And somebody's got to win. So go to aroundtheozarks.com, click on contest, play in the Branson Bowl, and you will need a keyword from this week, which is...
The keyword is shopping.
There you go. The keyword is shopping. It's going to be a great time. And we hope that you play. We hope that you play to win.
Yeah, it's easy to win. You don't have to know anything about football. Just remember the word shopping.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And the game, I mean, it's fun to get a signed jersey, but also how cool to get tickets to the games that are at Arrowhead. So really good prizes, and somebody's got to be the winner.
You know, I was at soccer practice last evening after dark, and it was cold.
Yeah.
I was actually cold.
I believe that.
I was cold outside. I had to go to the car and get a jacket. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to be uncomfortable.
I'm just going to
sometimes
hunker down for the
miserably
rest of winter. I'm
cold
going to hibernate. I'm going to go into my hole.
until
I recommend it.
like April.
Yep.
Maybe May.
Coming out in April.
Depends.
Okay.
It was cold though. Yeah, it was down to the 40s last night. Probably
Yeah,
still
it's
is this
wild,
morning.
isn't it?
I haven't been
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so
tis
much
the
for
season.
joining us. We hope you have a super great day.
Yeah. See ya.